strategies like this would be crucial in finding time to save over the record. They both came in World 8 and were both found by Astix. In 8-1, normally you have to significantly slow down after propellering over this lava. However, by picking up and carrying a shell, you can throw it and end Mario's spin early, meaning you slow down much less. In 8-2, the rolling hills throughout the stage can destroy your speed. However, Astix found that by crouch jumping and releasing the crouch at the top of the jump, Mario's speed is reset back to normal, and once again you don't have to slow down as much. In total, these tricks saved about a second and a half, meaning the potential was there for Fade to continue lowering the record. And on January 9th, 2020, that's exactly what he did.
Boom! Gas! Broke the tie.
Broke the tie? What tie? Well, the new Super Mario Bros. Wii leaderboard was going through a transition at this point. See, whenever the game fades to black, it's loading what comes next. These loads vary from disc to disc, console to console, or even within the same disc or console. Each load might only vary by a few tenths of a second, but over the course of a run, this can add up to 15 to 20 seconds. That means that a player can have a much faster run, but fall behind because of loading times outside of their control. So, the community was transitioning towards subtracting all loads out of the final time. This would level the playing field, and as a byproduct, lower the time of each run by a bit over 2 minutes. Fade's 24:29 converted to a time of 22:20 without loads. In January 2020, a runner named U-Video completed a run of 24:35 with loads that the community thought might have tied Fade's run when retimed without loads, hence the comments at the end of Fade's run. It ended up being just behind it with a 22:23, but when Fade got his 24:28, that removed all doubt, and Fade was securely on top once again. In March 2020, timing without loads was made official, and the world record was now a 22:19. It's also worth mentioning that in recent months, players discovered that the way they originally retimed runs added a couple seconds in certain cases. Fade's 22:19 was originally timed as a 22:21, but for this video I'll be using retimed times for accuracy. Through the first few months of 2020, the leaderboard was starting to get tight at the top. The record remained the same, but people like U-Video were now just seconds away. Fade Vanity had been in the top spot for over 2 years, setting 6 records and lowering the time by half a minute in the process. He was the third long-lasting record holder in the game's history, mirroring the domination that Riker Z and Ochgard once had. But other players were starting to catch up. Everyone's record reign needs to end someday, and with increased pressure at the top of the leaderboard, it seemed inevitable that a breakthrough was coming. And on July 2nd, that breakthrough finally came. This is Pidgey. Pidgey was early on a clear candidate to take the record. He was a former world record holder in New Super Mario Bros. On the DS, so making the switch to the Wii version came naturally to him. After running the game for just a few months, Pidgey was within seconds of Fade Vanity's time. And on July 2nd, 2020, he got a 22:19.4, just barely ahead of Fade for a new world record. New strategies in World 5 were a key for this run. There was an even easier method for getting 556, developed by Tutti Polo. By doing an additional wall kick here, you're set up to more easily make it to the second wall kick and have a much better chance at getting the fast cycle. And in 5-3, Monster found a trick nicknamed the Weird Shell Strat. If you're fast enough, you arrive at this Koopa right after he stops to dance, and can then pick him up to kill the Bram Ball and save half a second. There's also randomness on the overworld maps. The World 1 Goomba moves 3 times clockwise, meaning there's one direction he never moves. If this one direction is up, you save 35 frames, since the Goomba's up animation takes the longest. On the other hand, if that one direction is down, you lose that time since down is his shortest animation. World 5 has similar randomness with the Piranha Plant, but it's less understood than the Goomba. These two spots have about a second of time variance combined, which is entirely out of the player's control. So, in July 2020, this was the state of the new Super Mario Bros. Wii leaderboard. In first place, you had Pidgey, the newcomer who clearly had enormous potential. And just a half second behind him, you had Fade Vanity, the veteran who had proven himself time and time again. So,